And we're live. Good morning, everybody. Coffee with Priscilla, number 281. Yeah, 281 episodes. Motivational Monday. Well, in the spirit of where everybody's at this very moment, many of you are in fear of the unknown. Perhaps you've been quarantined, or I've seen people that are on vacation that can't come home now. Schools closing. I mean, there's just a lot of unknowns going on. So I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit this morning. Okay, we're gonna really feed ourselves and feed our souls. And I started a series this morning on radical remission, and it really is amazing because these are stories of people who have cured themselves, most of them from cancer, but there are other things. There are other things as well. And, it just really spoke to me in that I know we're in crazy times, and no, we have no idea what the future holds for any of us. The economy, we know, is going to take a big blow from all this. Absolutely. I'm not sure. At least in my lifetime, I can't remember when so many things were shutting down. And even for 2 weeks, if you could stop and think for just a moment what it would do, or maybe we shouldn't, but excuse me, if we stopped getting a check for 2 weeks, many of us, live paycheck to paycheck. And so that would be devastating on our families. And so, a lot of these businesses are closing at least 2 weeks. Schools are out for a month. So there are some jobs that people have that they have to be in person to have that job, right? So I know that it's a troubling time. So let's just feed our souls. Let's empower ourselves, and let's learn to be in a state of gratitude, even amongst all this chaos. Okay, shall we? Let's do it. Okay, so one of the cards that I'm going to pull this morning is Louise Hay's Power Thoughts, because that's what we need a little bit of, is power. Oh, I just saw myself. Yes, I have crazy hair this morning. Sorry, guys. It is what it is. Good morning. Good morning. Let's pull a power thought card from Louise Hay. She's always got such amazing words. And actually, it's Hay House, her company, that is doing this documentary series on radical remission. They have series all the time, and it's just great information. So, all right, let's see which card we're going to pull from Louise this morning. Shall we? Let's see. Okay. Freedom is my divine right. I am free to think wonderful thoughts. Wonderful thoughts. I move beyond past limitations into freedom. I am now becoming all that I am created to be. Let's just focus on that, right? Like, here's the deal. Let's see if I can get that. Let me adjust this a little bit. There we go. Maybe now you can see it better. Let's do a snapshot of that. Freedom is my divine right. Yes. Okay. So that's our first card. We'll come back to that. Now I have these cards that have been sitting in cellophane. I knew that a moment would come when these would be, the right time to use. And it's called The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. And that's what we're going to pull from this morning, the language of letting go. So let's pull a card from there. Now, I haven't actually shuffled these up yet. Oh, so let's do that. Let's shuffle them up just a bit as we get this Monday started on crazy, crazy times. Ooh, crazy times. Okay. So let's see if I can get them spread out a little bit so I can pick a card. All right. There we go. Man, they're sticky. Okay, here we go. Achieving clarity in my relationship. Today, I will remember that even the best relationships have low points. If the low point is the norm in my current relationship, I may have to consider if I want it to continue. If the low point is temporary, I will practice understanding. I know that I will achieve clarity and make the right decision. So now this relationship could be in a lot of things, right? We have relationship with many things. I don't know why this camera won't focus. Maybe I'm too close. I'll make sure I post a picture of it. It could be relationship with food. Maybe there is somebody that is having a negative impact on you right now, and now's just really not the time to have that negativity in your thought process, right? Okay, we're going to pull this all together, I promise. All right, now let's see what words Velma has for us this morning as well. Okay. Hidden treasures in secret places. Okay, here we go. Be careful not to hurt people. The pain you cause can chisel away at their heart until there is no love left. Words are one of the biggest causes of pain. We have the power of life and death in our words. Train yourself to say kind things or just shut up. Sometimes silence is truly golden. Listen, I'm going to tell you silence is always golden. Whoops. Here we go. Not only in this regard, but also there is absolute power in the silence, people. Absolute power. Maybe this pandemic that's happening at the moment will slow us down a bit, right? Maybe we'll learn to communicate one-on-one instead of through devices. Now, I get technology is awesome. It brings us together. I would be silly to say I don't believe in technology, and yet here I am with you, and I love coming. I feel that I can reach more people and that we could all work together better than we could if we were one-on-one. It doesn't mean that that replaces that one-on-one, but I do see how coming to you in this fashion and relating to you in this fashion can tend to have people not do as much one-on-one. But the fact remains, we can touch more people this way than we can. I couldn't touch as many of you in the mornings if I was just doing this in person, right? Because it would take a big ta-da to get this many people in a room, so on and so forth. But that does not replace one-on-one interaction. And that's one of the things that many people are concerned about, because right now people are being asked to stay in their homes, and for a very good reason. We just don't want to, at least here in the US, I know it's all over, but we have had the benefit of seeing what's happened in other countries. And so, we have the responsibility to then make changes based on others, tragedy, if it were. It started somewhere else. And so we can see what has happened with them, but it has, happened rather quickly when you really look at the scheme of things. So I know that, closing up and being, and here's the other thing. If you have children out of school, make sure that they're staying indoors. Like, that's the whole point of not having all the kids go to school, right? We need to keep everything contained so it doesn't spread. And it isn't because you shouldn't be in fear that you yourself could die from this. Maybe you are somebody that is high risk, and if so, even more so, you need to stay in. But it's about not spreading it to others, because we can be carriers, not be sick ourselves, but pass it on to somebody else. So that's the reason for all of this. Some of you think that it's crazy and why is this happening? But there's a reason, people. There's a reason, and we need to be responsible, right? So let's just take this in. Let's take this as a sign that we really need to dig a little deeper, not only within ourselves, but with our families, with our loved ones that we're in close proximity with. And if you live alone, you need to try to schedule some time with some friends, or maybe you do need to spend some time on Facebook, or maybe you need to spend some time being silent and really digging deep within yourself. If you haven't found, your own unique gifts that make you just be excited to wake up in the morning and work more towards, whatever your destiny is, then this is the time. Get quiet. We all need to get quiet. Life in and of itself pulls us in so many different directions, right? And, oftentimes that'll take us off track because we're just surviving. But we need to do more than just survive. And if there's some basics that you're not doing because you're just, you're in a survival mode, and it takes everything you have just to survive. And perhaps there's some things that you're not doing, basic stuff. Well, then you need to continue to dig deep and find the strength to tackle those basic things before you go, before you branch out to other things. Does that make sense? I'm personally going through this myself right now. Yeah, I am. I am. I mean, we can busy ourselves and look very normal on the outside and accomplish a lot of things, and yet still be neglecting some basics in our life. And until we take care of the basics in life, in sustainment, in taking care of ourselves the way we're supposed to, until we get that handled and under control, we're not going to have the success that we're wanting. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does. I hope it makes sense. So let's just really dig deep. As this card says, think wonderful thoughts, move past your limitations. And I just implore you to really just look at who you are. I say this all the time, and yet I'm not sure that we always know who we are. And so this silence, this getting quiet, will help you. I just hope that all of you that are watching, no matter how many it is, if it's one, if it's 10, if it's 1,000, it doesn't matter. You please, please, please get silent and really listen to yourself. Find out what it is that you truly, what are your heart's desires? What are they? And I'm not talking about, these magical dreams you have, although I want you to dream about things that those types of things. But I mean, what is going to get you up in the morning excited about life? For many of you, you may have no clue because for so long, you've just been surviving. Okay. So you're going to need to get silent for a longer period of time until you find it. And it's so important. Please don't stop doing it. Please don't just fall back into survival mode. There's more to this life. There's more to you. Find out what it is. Please find out what it is. I want you to wake up in the mornings and get excited and be happy. What's today's going to bring? Instead of waking up in the morning and saying, oh, get me through this day. Just get me through this day. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let's find out what really, really makes us. And, this goes along this card with relationships, low points, high points. Maybe there's some sort of relationship. Maybe it's a work relationship. Maybe it's time to move on. Whatever. Just think of relationships. It's not always just about one-on-one, a person, but relationships with all kinds of things, relationships with food, relationships with money, whatever the case is. Let's really dig deep. Okay, let's really dig deep and take this time that we have, a little more time that we're not running around going to the movies and whatnot, and really do some soul searching and, maybe putting pen to paper and really exploring these things and finding out who we are. What are these relationships we have? If there's anything negative going on, we know the negative things that bother us or that cause us stress. Whatever in your life is causing a little bit of stress, I want you to put it down on paper. Write the things down that are causing you stress. There's stress with some relationships with things that are going on in your life. Find out what those are. Okay, find out what those are, and let's do something about it. Let's do something about it. And so in the docuseries that I was watching this morning, Radical Remissions, one gal was at the age of 19, I believe, diagnosed with MS. And as it turns out, stress and gluten were the triggers for her with her MS, and she was able to reverse MS. Now, I know that sounds, I mean, it is radical remission. These things happen to some people. And so this whole series is this gal who has researched for several years all of these people. I can't remember how many she said, but I believe it was like 1,500 cases of these radical remissions. And, that there's some common threads in 10 of them. And so each day is one of these things. And today was empower yourself. Okay. And just try, what she did was she wrote things that stressed her out on one side, put a line and drew, and on the right side, she put what she was going to do about it. Right. So she put on the left-hand side something that stressed her, caused stress for her, and then on the right side, what she was going to do about that. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Okay. I know we're all going through a lot of stress right now. So maybe it's just for today, if that's what it takes. What's stressing you today? Write it down, and then write down what you're going to do about that to eliminate that stress. Because we do have control. We have control over our thoughts. We get to choose what emotion we tie with absolutely everything. So let's choose whatever solves that stress. Perhaps it's being in gratitude. It's a different thing for everybody. There's not one solution that fits all, because we're all so different and unique. We all have different needs. So let's do it today. Okay. Let's get a little quiet and let's dig in, build those relationships, have wonderful thoughts. Think of your freedom. Think of that. It says, I am free to think wonderful thoughts. You are. So think them. Go out there. And kind words. Velma, she gave us that this morning. Let's think of that. And there's a lot of craziness going on. Let's just, if anything, if all you can really do at this point, because all of this just is so overwhelming, let's just focus on kindness. If that's all we can do, that's magnificent. Whatever you can do today towards these things, let's do it. And so if kindness is the one thing that we can do today to help us get rid of some of the stress in our life, then let's just focus on kindness today. All right. Okay, guys. Well, I know that, like I said, it's scary times. There's a lot of unknowns, and we just all have to stick together and comfort and uplift every one of us, and, dig in. All right. Peace. Love you guys. Have an amazing Monday. I will see you on Wednesday morning. Okay. Bye now.